Hello, my name is Bert, the host, and today I will be your host. Every now and again, I just sort of get the feeling that I need to talk or write or get something out. And so I decided this would probably be a good way to do it. It may not seem very cohesive. It may not even make much sense. And I'm not really sure who it's for. If it's for me, if it's for you, or if it's for some yet unmet person. But it is what it is. Life life has a weird way of working. Life has a weird way of putting things together. Sometimes it makes no sense. Sometimes it seems fair. Sometimes it's extremely unfair. Sometimes people are birthed with luck that some people would say they don't deserve. And others, they can they can be too unlucky when they feel that they deserve more. But life isn't about fairness. We'd have to start defining what life actually is now, wouldn't we? I Life is a great many things. Life can be what you perceive of it. A lot of people perceive life as a game in and of itself. It sounds rather non-committal, but I think that life is it's basically what you make it. It's neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It's neither inherently flawed or misconstrued. It is, unfortunately, sometimes there are what we would call statistical outliers from our logical perception of neutrality. Those are the people who would say life is a horrible place, or life is the best place they've ever seen. But honestly, there is no rhyme or reason, as far as I can tell. The only thing that people have is perspective. And perspective is probably 90 to 100% of what makes life different for people. Because the events that have occurred in someone's life are largely influential on who they are or what they are in their attempts to claim what we would call immortality, which is more or less just not wanting to be forgotten. Because as we all know, you cannot escape your mortality. Nobody can escape their mortality. The closest we'll have, probably in our lifetimes, will be replacing your consciousness into a robot or some similar set of ideologies. Or perhaps trying to keep your brain alive in a jar. But is that really life? Well, from their perspective, it is a scared attempt at retaining something that may have been lost along the way. As we get older, we not only learn lessons that make us into who we are, but we lose who we used to be to a great extent. Nobody has perfect memory. Not even computers have perfect memory at this point. There are instances where things just happen, and you subconsciously possibly take in what's happening, but you may not actually know what is happening. And then there are times when reality just kind of seems to fold in on itself. But that's just perspective. And there are people who would be able to say, hey, I've seen reality fold in on itself. Here's what it actually is. Now, are they right or are they wrong? That's about perspective now, isn't it? Rightness or wrongness isn't necessarily a thing in this life, as I would be able to see it. There are proof for specific instances of specific things, but once again, those are all deemed right by the perspective of the relative normalcy of a specific society. So there's no such thing as a universal truth. Well, aside from, as they say, death and taxes, which is probably part of why people try and go for the anarchistic approach. Because anarchy would be trying to get away from the taxes. One less guarantee. If you can escape one guarantee, why not the other? Why not run away from death, as we would call it? But of course, nothing is that easy. Easiness is also a perspective. Ease of access or easiness of livelihood. What some may call an easy task, others may consider a monumental construct. I mean, from my perspective, walking is probably pretty easy, but there are people who couldn't possibly begin to even think about walking. Stroke victims, possibly. People in comas. People without legs. So then you start wondering, why do bad things happen? Why do good things happen? What is bad or good? And that's also just perspective. From the perspective of the person doing what we would call bad, it's the only thing they can do. It's something akin to a attempt to survive. And survival is largely lauded as one of the things that people consider a good thing, considering suicide is illegal in most places. So they just want to retain their livelihood. They want to retain who they are. They want to retain being alive. And can we blame them for this? I'm not sure we can, and I'm not sure that we cannot either. This is the problem with me just trying to put things out, I don't really know the answers to everything, unfortunately. I'm not some genius who knows all the answers to the universe that are hidden among the stars. I have not existed for infinite periods of time. I am just one perspective. But I would very much enjoy hearing other people's perspectives. And I would like to have a conversation so that we can understand more thoroughly humanity as a whole and each individual perspective. That is something that I very much enjoy the concept of. I think that's about it. I will possibly do this again if I feel the need, or if anyone seems to think that this is not the worst idea imaginable. I hope you all have a great day.